Wrexham ultras making lots of noise. There is the final whistle. Those Wrexham ultras will be delighted with that. Wrexham 5-0 here, our biggest win at Park Avenue, and really put on a show, in all honesty. That was tremendous from Wrexham. Casey Barker with a hat-trick, a brilliant hat-trick, and in horrific conditions. I mean, absolutely horrible conditions. This has been a terrific performance by the team. In the first half, with the wind in our favour, we dominated, but we kept it on the floor. There was no temptation to go short. There was no temptation to try and launch it and use the wind. It certainly pushed Aberystwyth back, but we passed the ball intelligently, pulled them around, helped them. We scored very early on. Rosie Hughes striking in her first start of the season. And as a consequence, we were on top. We really made a lot of chances. Although while it was 1-0, it must be said, Lizzie Craven made a brilliant save from Morley Hughes. One-on-one, standing up and parrying at her near post. It was a fine stop by her. But Wrexham, apart from that moment, really were dominant. And it was a surprise, really, that we had to wait until about 10 minutes before the end of the first half before we got a second goal with chances all over the place. Before finally Barker opened her account. She certainly wasn't finished yet. Wrexham then, as they now go across to acknowledge their superb support, the ultras behind the goal have really loved this. Continues to put the pressure on, continue to dominate, and as the second half started, although our Bristol were able to get a bit more into the game, the fact of the matter is that we still were the side who were making most of the opportunities. Craven had to make another sharp close-range save, but it was Steele who was more busy. Wrexham grabbed another from a corner after Steele made a really good save from Rosie Hughes, but she couldn't do anything when the ball came in, and Bartle was able to smash the ball home from close range. Steele got her hands to it, but had no chance. The ball ricocheting into the roof of the net. And then it was the Barker show as she finished things up with a quick-fire double to add to her first half goal and complete a brilliant hat-trick. As you can understand, the players haven't quite held on as long as normal with the Ultras, because it's time to get back in and get warm. It's horrible here. It really is. The wind has got up. The moment the game ended, it seemed to get worse. And I didn't think that was possible. But it has got worse, most definitely. The poor subs are still going to have to do their warm down. Oh, man, they're lining up on the edge of the box. That's a short score to draw, isn't it? Goodness me, off they go. But yeah, I just thought just getting warmer without you want. But yeah, Wrexham were dominant from start to finish. Really massively comprehensive win. And with all the other games being one-sided, Cardiff, Swansea and TNS all scoring goals and dominating, Wrexham certainly joined that club. I mean, it's Cardiff we're looking at, really, isn't it? And they put, as we'd expect, a lot of goals against Pontypridd. But we needed to win to make sure they didn't gain any advantage on us, and it was pretty foregone conclusion from the beginning. Barker magnificent, obviously, but from the very start she was dropping deep in between the lines, getting the ball in space, running at players, creating problems all the time, and her pace as well, running in when she was played in. But Wrexham's sure-footedness on the ball and control when it was so windy, when the ball was often moving faster than it should, because the woman just taking it even when it was on the floor and sending it over the line and off the pitch, was really impressive. We built from the back, we passed through the thirds despite the difficulty in keeping your balance in these conditions, and we did ever so well. Like I said, to play constructive football. Mahmoud's touch on occasion was crazy considering the weather. You know, real artistry at times. Her first touch with her soft feet was just fantastic to watch, and in tight areas her control was good. As well, Rosie Hughes, really aggressive and direct, running the channels, occupying the centre-backs, allowing Barker to drop off deep and cause issues. Snape was very impressive on the left. We switched around to a sort of lopsided three at the back, if you will. Snape was pushing on a long way, causing all sorts of problems, and in the first half. Aberystwyth just didn't seem to anticipate it. It looked like they looked at our last couple of games with the 4 at the back and just didn't adjust to the fact that Snape was all on her own down the left and was causing havoc, getting great balls in. A real goal threat as well. On the other side, Suckley was sort of the right-sided wing-back, but wasn't dropping off so much that Smith was coming across a bit. And yeah, Suckley put in a proper shift, really causing issues. Especially, I thought, in the second half against the wind, she was dropping a bit deeper, fighting to win the ball and driving it forwards. Lily Jones and Nat Clark did a really good job. Just keeping that ball shifting, getting that direct passing through her feet. And in the back three were very strong. Bartle again, some really nice moments of control. Some really nice moments where she read danger and stuffed her out very sharply. It was very, very good all around. And Wrexham deservedly come away with an excellent win. We stay level top. Cardiff have managed to put more goal difference into the game than us. So they've actually opened up 1 goal more. Unless they've scored late on, they'd won 7-1. But hey, who cares? The fact of the matter is we're keeping pace with them, and we're keeping pace with them comfortably. It's really been good to see. But these were the sort of conditions and the sort of opposition, because Aberystwyth an unpredictable side that could have been awfully difficult, and instead we've come here, imposed ourselves, taken control, and yeah, no question, impressive and hugely deserved. It's been quite a day, like I said. The wind has been crazy, the rain has been terrific. Those 2 factors so bad you hardly notice the cold, you know. And the drive back's going to be a bit of fun. But goodness me, so Wrexham made light of that, and for Aberystwyth, who got such a good win last Saturday, ending a run of 3 losses, found themselves outgunned. It was fun to see Libby Isaac and Rosie Hughes continue their rivalry. Always a tremendous duel between the 2 of them. Their pace is great, and it was a good level battle between the 2 of them. Hughes, I think, in the end, just about snatched it. But she took her goal well. That early goal, which really rocked Aberystwyth back, but I don't think that made that much difference in the sense that I think our domination was pretty complete, and there was not much else you could really ask from the team other than that. So we go on again. We've got TNS to come, of course. That rounds off the first half of phase 1 with not TNS. No, it is. We've rounded off phase 1 now, haven't we? Now we're at home to TNS. That'll be an interesting one. They found some form today, but always a fun derby. Wrexham, though, we've got halfway through the first phase and we've done ever so well to keep tight with Cardiff and be competitive with them. And an opportunity as well just to try and get some distance between us and teams below us who, to me, don't look as good. But to me, you know, the loss at TNS was a bit of an aberration. As you'll be delighted to hear that the subs finally are going. They're going in. They've done their warm down, after which they're much colder, no doubt. And they're able to go along and get into the warm finally. Go in search of a Bovril. Wrexham have really earned this, and those guys have earned their little warm-up, to be perfectly frank. Yeah, I'll tell you another thing which is very, very good for Wrexham. Lizzie Craven keeping the clean sheet, and the story of her season is fascinating, isn't it? Where there were a couple of mistakes early on, and maybe more than that, a couple of goals conceded which just didn't look great, whether they were the finger would point towards her or someone else more, but she's kept her head up because she showed last year she's a quality goalkeeper, and so as a result she has kept doing the right things. She got praise on Ask Wrexham today for the fact that she keeps playing the ball with her feet, and her distribution was superb. These are horrible conditions for a goalkeeper, doubly horrible for a goalkeeper looking to use their feet, and she did superbly the way she pinged that ball around and was confidently picking out Snape constantly, because Snape was the spare player, and she did ever so well just to be picking Snape out and starting so many attacks, getting balls on the diagonal out to her so swiftly. Not only that, she made 2 excellent saves, 1 in each half. And the first one in particular, driven towards the top right corner, was a superb stop and came when it was only 1-0. And an equaliser then might just have put the wind up Wrexham, quite frankly. So huge credit to Craven, who also showed good hands, taking a cross in the second half, just driven horribly into the goal mouth. Any take for a keeper in these conditions is difficult. Great from her, and a first clean sheet of the season for us, which is really important. The defenders at the end, there was a bit of a scramble around the penalty spot, and a couple of shots came in, and first Clark and then Smith threw their bodies on the line and made brilliant blocks just to make sure that that clean sheet stayed a clean sheet, because that's important, isn't it? If you can not let goals in. And I do appreciate that clean sheets are much rarer in the Adran Premier than they are in the men's game at a professional level. But still, if you can keep clean sheets, you've got a really, really good opportunity to finish up very high up the table. And that was a terrific achievement, but Craven played a huge part. And I've got to say as well, although she let 5 goals in, Sophie Steele, equally, in the Aberystwyth goal, did ever so well. Young keeper, really came in halfway through last season. She kept the score down. She made 2 or 3 top-notch saves, one of which led to the corner that we scored from anyway, Bartwell getting the third. And it was, absolutely super save by her. She judged a number of situations well when the ball was knocked long into her box, and she was sensible with the ball at her feet. Sometimes she put the ball out and, you think, oh, she's put the ball for throwing 20 yards out. Yeah, but sometimes you have to. But the fact is, she didn't get enough protection. Aberystwyth's defence, Isaac and Matthias did pretty well as centre-backs. But Wrexham really imposed ourselves. And to be cute enough to take advantage of that was really fantastic, especially in that first half. The conditions against us, we dealt with that. We dealt with tricky opposition. And we go marching on. Great stuff by Wrexham.